Ready? We live, y'all.
Live.
We are here.
Welcome to the Remy and Kasey Unfiltered podcast, episode 4.
On a Thursday.
Yeah. All the stuff we didn't have time for on the air or can't talk about it on the air, want to go at length in on the air. Or maybe it's just an offhanded conversation that we have in the studio, like what was on the walls of your room when you were growing up, poster-wise.
Did we talk about this today?
No. Well, Meat and I talked about it when you were out of the room.
Briefly.
I just said, I saw somebody posted on Facebook, like, what was on your room, like, walls as a kid growing up. And I don't know if there's any pictures of my room as a kid, which sucks because I had a sweet room. I basically had the entire basement to myself. So you'd walk down there and it was just like you were in my room at the bottom of the
It's a
stairs.
man cave before
Yeah.
you became a man.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember having tons of posters, and they were all the posters that would come from the J14, the Tiger Pop. Like, it was definitely very Zac Efron, Sprouse Twins.
Oh, Dylan and
I
Cole.
forgot about those kids. Zach and Cody, right?
Yeah.
Zach and Cody. They came to our civic center that we have in Normal, or Bloomington, I guess, where the Prairie Thunder hockey team played.
Name drop.
And it was nothing but girls Casey's age at that time.
Which is so
Just
weird.
lined up.
So
And they're like 11.
Yeah, they, like, I feel like they totally missed the 17-year-old stage because they were 11 and then they were 23.
Yeah. Yeah. What are they doing now?
Well, one of them stars in Riverdale. They're both very artsy, and the other one is a photographer that, like, travels the world with his supermodel girlfriend.
Love that.
good for him.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Wow. And just to give some perspective on this question, by the way, it's a daily basis where Remy just asks, like, out of nowhere, it'll be dead silent in here, and he's just like, hey, what's your favorite tree? Like the most just random out of nowhere questions. Like, hey, what's on your wall?
It's because a lot of
What do you
times.
mean what's on my wall?
A lot of times you guys are just so like, sometimes you just don't talk at all. And I'm just trying to get a conversation started. So why not?
Well, we're up early in the morning. We're working on stuff in here, and we're with each other for 4 hours straight.
Yeah, I know. So
I feel like I know so much about you that I don't need to ask any more questions.
well, I mean, there's the questions like, what's your favorite tree that you would have no idea unless you asked. And I asked that question and you said yours was a willow.
Thankfully.
And I said mine was a willow as well. So we're willow twins.
So cute.
At least we have that.
Yeah. Would you say oak?
Cypress, remember?
Cypress.
I like
Oh,
the
yeah.
Spanish moss.
The Spanish moss, yeah.
Did you have, like, posters on your wall?
Heck yeah, I had posters. Mark McGuire was everywhere, all over my walls.
I was expecting, like, a Jessica Simpson answer.
See, I was a little too young for that. I do remember a Carmen Electra poster my sister bought me at Walmart one time.
Hell yeah.
I, like, talked her into it, and that was pretty sweet. But I was telling Remy earlier, there had to have been some posters from the book fair that were on my wall, like car posters or something like that. Like
Had
that.
the folds in them.
Yeah, that was
they
a
came in a
must.
book or a magazine. Yeah. I had movie posters. I had like the actual large size movie posters that you'd find at the theater. And I remember I had Knight's Tale. I had Casino Royale, James Bond, and Mission Impossible maybe. I forget what the third one was. Regardless, I just thought that they looked cool. The only movie of those that I had seen was The Knight's Tale.
You just go for the movies with all the hunks in them, huh?
Yeah, right?
Tom Cruise,
Action
Heath
dudes.
Ledger.
Do movie theaters still sell, like, posters? And if they don't, I feel like they should.
Oh, yeah. I remember that was a thing.
Did the movie theaters actually sold them?
Yeah. Well, that's
Posters.
it's not where I bought them. I always bought mine off of eBay. But I remember there was a gift shop at one of the theaters that I went to growing up, and they had all the posters and like any kind of merch.
Yeah, knick-knack.
We didn't have a gift shop at our movie theater. What the heck?
Yeah, it wasn't around for very, very long.
What a privileged life you lived.
I never got any of it. But yeah, posters were on sale there. But I would always go through these phases in my room, so I would redecorate all the time.
Or, like, rearrange things.
Rearrange.
Like, pushing around furniture.
Yeah, I had an obsession with Volkswagen Bugs for a long time. And so I would,
Why?
I don't know.
I know. I can't imagine Remy just rolling up in a bug.
I love me a good PT Cruiser. Let me tell you.
What's the HHR or whatever it is. I would go to the store, the grocery store, and you know those like classified car magazines when you're walking out, they're free.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like from all over the country, people selling their cars. I would find all of the Volkswagen Beetles and I would cut those out and I would put those on my wall. So I had like, I don't know, maybe 75 to 80 black and white photos of Volkswagen Bugs and who to contact if you wanted to buy it.
So you went like serial killer style, cut out letters.
Yes. The only thing that was missing was like the red string in between each.
Bugs.
I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was about that car, but I had an obsession for probably a good year and a half with the older version of the car. And then I forget what year it was. It was like, I don't know, maybe 98, 99 when they announced the new look
coming back
to the Volkswagen Bug. And there was a woman on our street that got one. And I remember getting into it. And I was like, this is so small. It was very tiny. Like you couldn't fit golf clubs into it. And I was immediately turned off at that point.
Golf, don't want it.
That was it.
I hope for your next birthday, Lauren like rents a car, gets a nice VW Bug, goes on a little trip. You can drive the whole way there. It'll be great.
Saying they can barely hear Kasey. Is Casey's mic in aux?
Also, hey, let us know if it's. Can you see this feed clearly?
Oh, there she is.
Hey, let us know.
Got it.
Can you not see it?
My feed is.
Oh, it's very.
Yeah, but if
very
yours is
grainy.
clear, then it's probably fine. It's probably just me.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're just talking about bedrooms, also in my bedroom growing up, I had 2 parakeets, a cockatiel, 3 leopard geckos, 4 fish tanks.
Why?
Cause you know that's what the ladies liked.
I just want
No,
to
I
go back
can't
and
say
see.
I liked any boy who had animals like that or that many.
I want to go back and see like 14-year-old Remy just to see what this was all like. Because this is a little scary with the bedroom stuff.
Yeah, you know, it was a weird situation because we had a really small house growing up, so there was only 2 bedrooms upstairs, and there was like a guest bedroom downstairs, and that's where my brother and I's room was when my sister was born, and we had a bunk bed, and I immediately wanted to get out of that situation as fast as I could, so I just like took over the living room down there. And the only other thing down there was the laundry room, which my mom was in and out of. So it was always fun having girls over. We were watching a movie or whatever. My mom would have to come down and do the laundry.
Right.
She, like, knocks
She's
on the
like
door.
pulling laundry out of your sibling's
Yeah.
rooms. Like, give me that Simba. I gotta go do laundry. There's a girl in the basement.
Stay away from my boy.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you guys have anything like really random, like old school stuff in your room? Like you mentioned, like moving the furniture around, and I forgot I had a trundle bed back in the day. Did you guys have those?
Is that the one where you pull out from like underneath? the
Yeah,
couch?
it's like a normal day bed that had like the wood all the way around it.
Yeah.
But you could pull another
And
bed
then,
out.
you pull another bed under from the
Yeah.
bottom and it just like pops up.
Definitely had a hide-a-bed in the sofa, for sure.
Yeah, like pull out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trundle bed. I don't think those are around anymore though, right?
They
Super
are.
outdated.
Some of my friends stayed when we were in Nashville. Some of my friends slept in a room with a trundle bed.
Really?
Yeah, and I thought it was actually. I always forget about them, but they're so revolutionary in my mind because you could take just a regular full-size bed and immediately you have 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, right underneath.
The other thing that got real popular is the Murphy bed. Murphy beds got real popular
Yeah, I
recently.
can't get with that.
Just like a bed on the wall.
Folds right down from
If
the
you need
wall.
the space, if you need the space,
makes
it's a
sense.
good
Yeah, if
way.
you're living in New York or something, I totally understand. I just don't think that I would ever want.
They do
that
it a
in my
lot
house.
in the Disney resorts. So if you need an extra bed, it's just on the wall. So you can just pull that down. So if you've got a bunch of kids and mom and dad want to be in the bed together and then the kids want to be in the Murphy bed, you just pull that down and then you get yourself a bed. So I don't know.
that.
Yeah. Or you just have them in your bed with you and then get no sleep whatsoever, which is usually what we
Fun
choose
ever
to do.
happens.
You live, you learn.
Don't have kids.
We were also talking about kind of in the studio this week about how Walmart and Amazon and Target are all kind of adopting this new policy of if you purchase something and then you don't like it for whatever reason, you go to return it, you start the return process on the app, and sometimes they'll say, just keep it, we'll give you your money back, but just keep the item.
Oh yeah, so comment this if this has ever happened. You've gone to return something and they're like, we'll refund you, but just
keep it. It's happened to me a lot recently with Amazon, where I'll order clothes off Amazon, and it's so hit or miss. Like, it's either the greatest thing I've ever gotten, or it's a rag that they're calling leggings. And I'll go back and I'll try and return it, and they'll tell me every time, well, how about we just send you a refund? Or how about you just pick out something else? It's all good. No need to send that back to us. And in my head, I'm thinking, are you sure?
For real?
Am I going to get in trouble for this?
I did need a towel to dry off my car with. Thank you for these leggings.
Yeah, right.
But I think that's a solid sign that clothes are so cheap to make now that they are more money to have an employee put them back on the shelf, restock them, put them back in inventory, all that kind of stuff costs more than the actual item that you bought.
We had this happen to us last week, 2 weeks ago, something like that. We got a mattress from like a website. They send it to you and all that. We had it for, I don't know, a couple weeks, and it was just too firm. So we're like, hey, we want to get a new one. Same thing. They just told us to keep it. And Amanda was like emailing them, like, are you sure? Like, what do you want us to do with it? A mattress.
That's like, what,
That's
$400 or $500?
I would assume so. I mean, at least.
That's
I would
way
think.
different than leggings. That's like, you're just going to let me keep this?
Right.
Yeah.
So
I think the
where do I
biggest.
put it?
We just gave it away. Like, we gave it to one of our friends because
Oh my
like they needed
gosh.
one at their house.
I
So
put that up on
brand new.
Facebook
Okay,
Marketplace.
Yeah, and then
Make
they
some
would come
money on
knocking
that.
and be like, hey, where's our mattress?
Yeah. Yeah. So Lauren tried this. There was a dress she had purchased. I think it was Target. And she was like, well, try it out. I'm really on the fence. I was going to return this anyway. And she's like the return queen. She makes a day of it and just returns everything that she's ever bought over the past week. But she tried it on Target, and it was like a $21, $22 dress. And they just said, keep it. We'll give you the money back. Keep it. So it's a thing. It's a thing. But I want to know how they're going to track that. Like, if you're like, I'm going to take advantage of this.
Right.
What's the frequency of returns that you can do? How much money do they allot you?
How many
per
mattresses can I
quarter?
get for free this
Exactly.
month? Yeah.
Like, I wonder if lists are going to start coming out where people are like basically showing you the Target algorithm for how that all works. Like, if it's an item of clothing that's between $20 and $25, they're definitely going to have you keep it. All of that stuff goes through my mind. And I don't know why, because it makes no
Yeah.
difference in my life.
Do they like take your name down whenever you go
Yes.
return something? So then they could say in a month, hey, you've tried to return 20 items.
Yeah.
Like, I think you should really figure it out.
Yeah, they know by your card number or
But if
something
you're
like
strategic
that.
about it, it's like you get $25 a month. You might as well just go get a free T-shirt every month.
Anyway,
I wonder, is it not having employees? I wonder if like how much of it's like the retail space.
it's got to have to do with staffing.
Yeah. Well, like the retail stuff, you hear all these places, all these businesses, they're not going back to the office because they don't want the rent. They don't want that stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's like Walmart. I mean, think of the retail space that it would take for Walmart, Amazon to have a place where they can hold all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's got to be millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. This kind of happened to us years ago where it was a mess up from a shoe company. Lauren had purchased some heels from a shoe company, and they sent her Gucci heels.
Ooh.
And we looked them up, and they're like $750 heels.
They accidentally sent her Gucci heels.
Yes, but they were the wrong size. So
The
she wears,
worst.
I think she wears like an 8 or something, and they sent 10s or 6s, like something that she was never going to be able to wear. So I called and I was like, hey, I think you sent these to us by mistake, hoping because they're $700 shoes that they would be like, oh, thank you so much. We will, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Here's $100 voucher or whatever for whatever. Thank you for returning these shoes. They were like, cool. You can send them back. We'll give you, I don't know, $20. They gave us like a $20 gift card. And I was like, so what if I don't send them back? And she was like, well, we can't really do anything about it. So, if you want to live that life.
She said that.
And I was
I
like,
thought she was going to be like, well, then we'll probably just charge you for them.
yeah. So we had a powwow because there was no way to track me because I was calling from a different phone than she had registered.
Was your name on the package? Was it made out to either one of you?
It was her.
Okay.
But I had called. Anyways, we had like this powwow about it. We were like, should we send them back and get $20 or should we just sell them on eBay? So, of course, we sold them on eBay.
Make that
Oh
money.
my gosh.
Look, we were young. We were young. We were just learning in life. And I think they went for like $275 or something. So somebody got a really good deal on a pair of shoes.
If an item comes to your house in the mail and it's addressed to you, that's fair game at that point.
I think
if
so,
it's addressed
too.
to somebody else, okay, I get it.
It's on them. Like,
Yeah.
their system messed up somewhere. So sorry.
You're just
Yeah.
doing what you do.
Now I got to get a whole new pair of shoes in the right size.
And they're not even Gucci now.
They're not even Gucci.
Man,
How will I live?
woe is Remy.
But that's the only real, because sometimes we'll get groceries and like the item will be expired or it'll be damaged or it's not the right item, and those are smaller, so you can just say this wasn't the right thing I ordered or whatever. They'll just refund you and tell you to keep it. It's a food item. They're not going to have you bring back like a $3 cheese or whatever. But I could see people taking advantage of this down the road. It'll be interesting to see how they track all this, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do any of that stuff. It's way over my head.
Beginning tomorrow, drivers in Florida can receive a fine of up to $114 for blasting music in their cars. Other cities and states have laws like this, including California. What do you think? Good idea, bad idea on the blasting of music? I just feel like Florida is kind of that, like, as
Florida's
a state.
different. They
Yeah.
can regulate that kind of thing because they need to.
Like if all the states were cars, Florida would be the one that was bumping anyway.
Yeah, with the neon lights underneath.
Oh, yeah.
The
The
huge
lowrider,
spoiler.
yeah.
Like fog coming out of it probably. So there's a house that lives across the street kind of from me, catty corner. I don't know if it's a babysitter or whatnot, but every day it's like parents coming to pick kids up. I don't know. But one dad, like I will hear the music from the end of the block,
Yeah.
like pulling into our subdivision. And like it rattles our house. So I'm all about this because I'm getting every lyric, every little piece of the song. I'm hearing every bit of it. I'm all for it.
That's
Find
so.
that dude.
You're for this here?
Yes.
Like
You
to
don't
enforce
ever
it?
If it's-
bump your music when you're driving down the road?
if I'm bumping it on the highway, who's going to have an issue on the highway or something? But if you're in a neighborhood and
Neighborhoods, I
everybody can hear
understand.
your
Windows down, gas station. Guy pulled up to me the other day in a gas station, all windows open, subs in the back,
Right.
obviously. Left it on while he was pumping his gas next to me.
exactly.
Yeah, this I
And
understand.
it's
like,
not even music that I know.
like, don't do it in a residential area. Don't be a tool about it. But also, am I driving down Olive absolutely blaring Taylor Swift? Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
but you're in a Corolla with a
And
stock speaker.
what?
You're a
if I
stock.
rolled up to your house in my Corolla,
You wouldn't hear it.
but I'm coming over.
If I can make out the words in your car and everybody's windows are up,
Yeah.
that's probably a little too loud.
It's
for
a
me.
like I'm.
If I can hear it,
What I'm
it's
trying to
one thing.
illustrate is that you have a stock speaker system in a Toyota Corolla. It's
No,
probably
I
not going to
understand
bump
what you're
too
hearing.
much. In high school, I made it so that my car was loud.
Right.
I had subs in my trunk. I replaced the speakers with better speakers. I had an
You're
amplifier.
telling me things I know. What I'm saying is where I don't know where we're getting off track.
We're getting off track by you saying that if I blare I should be able to blare my speakers, and I'm saying that if you blare your speakers, it's no harm, no foul because nobody can hear your speakers.
So then is the law about replacing with new equipment?
I think it was within a certain.
It's just
if you could hear
decibel.
it within a certain distance of the car,
Yeah.
I think is what it was, like 30 feet or something like that.
Got it.
Yeah.
30 feet.
Like I'm all for you jamming out. Just like read the room a little bit, know where you're at.
And you know what? You could put that on your forehead for everyone throughout the day because I feel like there's a lot of situations where you need to be like, you know what? Listen, if you just look around, have a little self-awareness,
Yeah.
you understand that what you're doing right now is too much.
It's that easy.
What was I gonna say about the people? Like, how do you? Some of these guys and girls have subwoofers, like 4, 5, 6 subwoofers in their trunk to the point where it vibrates your entire body. How do you drive with that?
I have a friend who
You ever seen the ones where their hair moves
Oh,
when,
yeah.
when like
Yeah.
the subs go?
I have a friend who has this scenario, and in college, he was dating my college roommate. They're getting married, woo. And anytime I rode in his car, like I could feel it in my bone, like I could feel
Yeah.
my bones vibrating, and it was the worst because like you can't really relax with it. And also, I'm thinking, if there's a siren behind us, we're not gonna hear it. I'm panicking. I'm
Yeah.
like the backseat driver, but I don't want to say anything.
It's funny how fast things change. Like you talked about you doing that when you were younger. I had the sub in my car. I remember going to Best Buy and like hitting all the buttons, trying to hear all the
Yep.
different subwoofers and everything. And like that was a cool thing to do. And now I look at like If a dude my age is driving around like that, I'm like, you're a D-bag. Like, you're a D-bag.
Yeah.
Like, it just changes so quickly. Like, oh, cool. No, now you're a
Yeah,
douche.
not cool anymore. Now you get into my car and I'm listening to like easy breezy
NPR.
like podcasts.
Enrique
and,
Iglesias.
Enrique, yeah. If I do jam out, it's definitely to something like The Greatest Showman or Hamilton or something.
And on that
Maybe
note,
Disney on
that's all
Ice.
you need to know about Remy.
Look, I've mellowed out a lot, guys. Phantom of the Opera and the car down the highway is beautiful.
Especially when it's a slug bug.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Can you imagine me rolling up to a remote, Phantom of the Opera blaring in
Windows down.
in my VW Bug?
No.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
This thing gets 25 miles to the gallon.
The Phantom's about ready to, have his way with Christine. What up? Where's Raul when you need him? That's what I always say.
I don't even know what he's talking about.
Getting out looking like a clown, getting out of a clown car.
It's a foreign language. It's a foreign language.
It is.
Another story in here. Don't take candy from strange drones. Police in Minnesota are investigating a suspicious drone that is dropping candy near children who were fishing with their mother on Monday. Police are talking to a person of interest about it. It sounds like it was some sort of stunt being filmed for social media. So now we got to worry about not creepy dudes in vans running down the street for our kids. We got to worry about drones delivering candy as well.
These drone things are starting to freak me out a little bit.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I don't like it.
It got out of hand for a little bit as the consumer drone, like the video drones, started to become a little bit cheaper and way more reliable, and the cameras are way better. But I think now the FAA, they've really cut down on a lot of the like scary drones that could fly for miles autonomously and then go look into somebody's window. But yeah, there was a point there where, I mean, even our company's like, you got a drone? Can't fly.
Yeah, not happening.
Yeah.
Don't even think about it.
Too much liability there.
Yeah.
Is there going to be like a whole nother type of police someday that are simply policing air traffic?
Yeah, it's the Space Force, right?
Space Force out there for drones.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's going to be, I mean, they've been talking about Amazon drone delivery for how long now?
Yeah.
I think that's definitely an inevitable thing. It's going to happen, but think about the amount of Amazon vans and trucks and delivery vehicles that are out there. Now put that in the sky.
Yeah.
You look up, it's just going to be zoom, zoom, zoom,
With airplanes and everything else going on up
packages going everywhere.
Yeah, I really don't like the thought of that. I don't like, as we're sitting here looking out this gigantic window in our studio, I don't like the thought that in years there's just little ding, ding, ding things going across the sky with your Amazon package.
Yeah. There's got to be some billionaire that's looking up at the sky and looking at all of that space that isn't being used.
Yeah.
And they're like, how can we take that over? Even with the amount of air traffic there are with like airliners and planes and helicopters and things like that. I mean, still, I don't see a plane in the sky right now. It's wide open spaces. That's some flyover sky there. Does that even make sense?
Flyover states.
Yeah, no, but like it's the reverse.
I know what you're saying. I just want to correct you just so we can get it out there.
So yeah, I don't know. That was another story that I saw that was interesting.
Yeah, I think at some point, like, you cut it off almost and, like, take the power away and do it. Like, you've got your commercial drones over here, and then you've got your at-home drones that have, like, little teeny tiny power in them. That's what I think it's going to take. We're not going to give them that capability.
That's going to have to get controlled somehow.
Yeah. Someone left a painful review for a cheap, eco-friendly toilet paper, saying it will require ice cubes to help it soothe the sharp paper texture that exfoliates you whilst you wipe. What kind of toilet paper you guys use?
Unpopular opinion, I'm so the opposite of a toilet paper snob. Like,
you don't
sometimes
like
I'll just have the super cheap stuff just because I don't really think about it.
Wow. I don't know what brand we use, honestly.
Is it
Tilted Northern, maybe?
okay? So it's
I
like
don't know.
premium.
Like, yeah, usually, like, we'll go to Sam's and just get, like, the huge thing, whenever,
Okay.
whenever we're there.
You like wiping your butt with a paper towel?
No?
Pillowy. We use Angel Soft, which is I think the cheapest that you could
It's not
possibly
bad,
get.
yeah. It's not
I think
bad.
it's pretty cheap. and then we go to my parents' house, and my parents pay. They got to pay like $80 for rolls of toilet paper because they're thick.
Super strong.
Feels like a towel. It's a little scary about how thick they are, but
This is one of those things that growing up and even as an adult now, I just never think about it. And I've never gone to someone's house and used their toilet paper and like thought to complain about it or
Yeah.
thought, man, this sucks.
judge them.
Or wow, this is, a quilt.
This is nice stuff. This is fancy. I never think about it until I go to like an office building at work
Yes.
sometimes.
Yes.
It's like the teeny tiny thin stuff. And you're like, oh, that's not going to.
Like, what's the point of that? Because you have to use quadruple the amount because it's so thin. It's like less than tissue paper.
And it doesn't feel comfortable at all.
Well, you know what I really, really, really don't get before we leave on here? I was only like 20 years old when I found out that people get up in arms about the way that toilet paper faces
Oh, yeah.
in your bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean over under?
There is a
It's
way.
just in the slot or
Yeah.
on the thing.
I'll even go.
What's the way? I mean,
I'm normally an over person, but I'll even factor in like, you have your little toilet paper roll. I'll even just set the toilet paper on it sometimes.
Thank you. That is exactly what I
guy
do.
No issue
If
with
I
that.
need to switch out at any crucial point in my going to the bathroom, it will always just sit on the back of the toilet or
Yeah.
Are you
use-
also that way with a trash bag? Because Jack will never replace the trash bag once he takes the trash out, and then
the
I
same
go
way.
throw something in it, and I hear "Kunk" on the ground,
yeah.
and I'm like,
I'm a trash bag. I'm pretty anal about that.
Really?
Yeah, unfortunately, and fortunately, I guess for my family. But
Yeah.
I'm the only one. Sorry, Lauren, that usually takes out like it'll pile up to the point where you pushed it down so much that it won't go down any further.
Yeah.
And at that point, I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do it, and take it out. Immediately replace those. Immediately.
I think so too.
The thing that I suck at is dishes.
Oh,
Real bad.
I get it.
Yesterday, it was to the point where there were so many freaking child plastic compartmentalized plates in the sink that when you turn on the faucet, like the water was like running down the plates and over into onto the floor. So I was like, fine, I'll do it. But I hate dishes. Every single time I do dishes, it's one of those chores that I'm just that and making the bed from scratch. Fresh sheets, I hate it. I don't know why. It's just one of those things.
I can deal with the
It's a pet
bed.
peeve.
I can't deal with dishes.
Making
I'll
the bed is
clean
pointless to
1,000
me.
toilets before I do a load of dishes.
You'll
that
do what?
doesn't bother me. Clean toilets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Me either.
What did you just say before that? That you don't make the bed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Making the bed. Yeah. Pointless. Like, even on a daily basis. Like, I hate it. Why? Why spend the time doing it?
Does Amanda?
She will, especially because, like, now I get up so much earlier than she does. So when I come home, the bed's made when she gets up.
Yeah.
But, yeah, if I'm the last one out of bed, no chance in hell am I doing that. Like, why? Why? Nobody's coming in. Like, you're not
Just makes
showing
it
your room off.
nice. I feel it to me. This may sound strange, but to me, it's almost like a mental thing. Like when my bed is made and everything's put together,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so is my
Especially
life.
At the end of your day, when you've done nothing but make decisions all day long and done things all day long, and then you get up to your bed and it's a mess, and it's like that last final thing you have to do before you go to bed.
Wait,
You don't find
make
that annoying?
your bed before you get in your bed?
Well, sometimes, like, Lauren's pretty good at, like, she's obviously up after I am. She's pretty good about, like, making it again, but sometimes she doesn't, or the kids mess it up in some way, shape, or form. So you get back up there and it's just like a clump of whatever. And so before bed, after a long day, having to make it, that one little thing sucks. It's just the little things.
Just like straighten stuff out. Is that
yeah.
that's what you're saying?
It's just like, yeah.
I don't know. So, something doesn't sound right.
Third
about that.
world probs. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Or I guess we're first.
I think it would be so much fun to have one of you guys replace me for the day and I replace you and you just have to live my life for just a day. Just one day, just to see what it's like.
I just think it would go. I can't really explain the direction I think it would go in.
I see him and Jack sitting at your house, just like playing video games all day,
Yeah.
like Step Brothers, like
Heck
that
yeah.
movie. That right there.
Or
Is what's
we'd be
gonna happen.
golfing or something. You know what I mean?
Working out.
Yeah.
And the thing is I guess if it's one day, you could easily just be like, oh, we're going to the aquarium or we're going to do something fun. But I think if you strung together a bunch of days, then you'd understand why making the bed at the end of a day sucks.
I just don't worry about those things. I do have a question for you, though. Back to the toilet paper thing real fast.
Yes.
Are you a wader or like
A folder.
A folder?
Oh, water for sure.
Really?
Yeah, just however that. Just gotta cover up random fingers and hand parts, and then you're good.
That is so horrible. What? Really? There's nothing
roll
clean
it?
to it. There's no consistency.
What do you do?
I think I start with a fold and then I kind of end up just wadding.
Yeah, you gotta like fold it and be proper. Then it like catches everything
You're
you need
the
it
last
to.
person I would think to be proper in the bathroom.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, come on. Come on. Straight wadding it up like an animal.
You guys feel good? You feel like this
Feel
is a
great.
good stopping point?
Have a
Now that
great
you know how
Thursday.
we wipe our butts.
Feel cleaner than you guys.
Thank you for joining us on the Unfiltered Podcast, episode number 4. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday on Facebook Live. You can always check it out. We are uploading this to our regular podcast, right?
Yeah, if you ever listen to podcasts on Apple or Spotify or Podcast One or the 92.3 WIL app, you'll also see these included with our regular podcast episodes daily.
Yeah, so if you're just popping in on the tail end of this, you can always check it out in our podcast section. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow for Friday.
Goodbye.
See ya.